Pfizer of going public with its vaccine effectiveness after the election. The president continues to push the narrative that he won the election.
Big Pharma ran millions of dollars of negative advertisements against me during the campaign, which I won, by the way, but, find that out. Almost 74 million votes.
Pfizer denied.
Before he concedes, and what's the damage?
Well, I don't know if he's ever going to concede, but the damage, I think, is quite significant. I mean, we're sowing the seeds of doubt about the democracy, not just about this election, but I think elections going forward, the way the president is trying to execute this attempt to overturn the free and fair election. And he's creating all this doubt, and he's driving his own supporters to not even believe what used to be the president's favorite news channel. So I think that development alone shows you how this alternative media ecosystem that the president really has conditioned his supporters to believe is setting us on a dangerous path. I mean, we really have people who don't, who get the virus, die from the virus, and apparently don't believe they've had the virus. It's that bad with this alternative world that in some ways has been created. So I think that's quite damaging there. That said, how does this end? When Mitch McConnell utters the words President-elect Joe Biden, at least in Washington, when he does that, I think 40 senators would follow pretty quickly, and you'd probably have GSA and all of the mechanics of this transition process begin. But Mitch McConnell isn't doing that, because what's the only strategy he's pursuing, and politically he's right to do this, is keep the Trump base fired up for those Georgia runoffs. And in order to do that, you've got to placate this nonsense. But I think this is doing everlasting damage to the Republic.
And what's the Biden camp saying about all of this at this point?
Well, you heard the president-elect got a little more upset yesterday, but, there are some Democrats that want him to go to court, want him to file suit. He himself said yesterday, well, how does that speed up the process a little bit? It's interesting. People around Biden want him to fight this more, want him to maybe raise his voice more. Joe Biden's instinct clearly is, I won this election with a simple message of bringing the country together, so I better constantly act like I want to bring the country together. And one decent poll that I've seen, and there's not many that I will say are good to look at, but Pew is out with one today, and the public, by a 2-to-1 margin, prefers the behavior of Joe Biden post-election than Donald Trump post-election. So he's probably pursuing the right strategy, even though it doesn't speed up this transition process.
Before we let you go, who are your guests this Sunday on Meet the Press?
I looked at it and said, who is it? I've never seen anything quite like it, because I told them I'm going to have to do this. I was put here to do a job. And Pfizer and others were way ahead on vaccines. You wouldn't have a vaccine if it weren't for me for another 4 years, because FDA would have never been able to do what they did, what I forced them to do. And Pfizer and others even decided to not assess the results of their vaccine. In other words, not come out with a vaccine until just after the election. That's because of what I did with favored nations and these other elements, instead of their original plan to assess the data in October. So they were going to come out in October, but they decided to delay it because of what I'm doing, which is fine with me, because frankly, this is just a very big thing. A very big thing. What I'm doing here, I don't know if anyone's going to appreciate it. These people can't even believe it. Alex, even you can't believe it, can you? Look at you. So they waited and waited and waited, and they thought they'd come out with it a few days after the election. And it would have probably had an impact. Who knows? Maybe it wouldn't have. I'm sure they would have found the ballot someplace.
We tune in at the White House, where Trump is refusing to concede to Joe Biden.
Hey, Mr. Trump, why don't you come out of the White House and let Joe Biden go ahead and be president so he can bring America back together again? Why you still hanging around in there? You lost the election, Mr. Trump. Would you come out and talk to me? I know you can hear me out there. Hey, little girl. What you doing out here in front of the White House? You's Antifa. No, Mr. President, I'm not Antifa. You have people out here in the street marching too. You have people out here marching too, Mr. President or Mr. Trump. Why don't you get out the White House? I ain't never gonna get out the White House. I ain't gonna concede. You cheated. It was fraud. All the things you people did out there was fraud. And I ain't never gonna concede. I'm gonna stand here for 4 more years, just like my people said. 4 more years. Mr. President, you got people out here marching in the streets. Them people's Antifa. Oh, no, little girl. You Antifa. All you people right there, the ones that coming out here, but y'all Antifa. Black Lives Matter Antifa. My supporters not Antifa. They good, wholesome, loving, fun-loving people like me. Well, Mr. President, Mr. Trump, you need to get out the White House. That's what you need to do. I ain't gonna go nowhere, little girl. Well, then you got people out here that's Antifa too. They out here marching. Watch what I'm saying.
Back at the White House again, and Black Lives Matter comes to kick President Trump out of the White House.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Get out the White House! Black Lives Matter! Get out the White House! Get out the White House! Hey, you get out of here. No, Black Lives Matter. I ain't never leaving the White House. I done more for black folks than Abraham Lincoln. And I don't care what you say. I'm gonna stay right up in here for 4 more years. Mr. President, Mr. Trump, you lost the election fair and square to Mr. Joe Biden. And you need to get out the White House. Hey. You guys is Antifa. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go get my good old boys and the Proud Boys, and we gonna take care of it. We gonna get you boys out of here. Now you get up in front of the White House. Get out in front of the White House. Black Lives Matter. Get out the White House. Black Lives Matter. 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years. Hey, you get out of here. Black Lives Matter. We're Trump supporters. And we control the army, the police, and everything.
And we want you to get out of here. Because if you don't get out of here, we gonna take care of this business right here. And you'll never be able to survive if you don't get out of here right now. Well, Mr. Proud Boys, I have to tell you, I won the election fair and square, and these people have a right to be out here protesting and telling Mr. Trump to get out the White House because Mr. Trump lost the election and you people just don't want to accept it and you're just causing trouble. So you need to get on up out of here. 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years. We're gonna get them, boy. We're gonna get them, Antifa. We're gonna get them. We ain't going nowhere. We gonna get them. Mr. Trump, you need to get out the White House.
Joe Biden. Hey, Joe Biden. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't never leaving the White House. Just because you won, it was fraud. It was fraud, I tell you. And I'll never get out of there. Black Lives Matter, get this boy. Get him up out of there. Get out the White House. Get out the White House. Get out the White House.
Well, tell you what, I'm gonna leave the White House this time, boy. But I guarantee you we'll be back.
Oh, you get out the White House. Get out the White House now. We kicking you out, Mr. Trump. We kicking you out the White House. Now get out the White House.
Okay, well, I'll go this time. But by God, we're gonna come back again.
The South will rise again. The South will rise again. I guarantee the South will rise again.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. We will be back. We will be back. I guarantee you.